So yeah, so we wanted to go through it. Basically, simple golf tracker. Someone's honking a horn immediately. Simple golf tracker. It's like, oh man, they're going live. Like, fucked off. Like, seriously. I should get a little air horn here. Well, actually, I mean, I guess we could start it with a funny story. Mike and I have called several clients, and some of them are auto body technicians, and they are actively sandblasting while they're on the phone. So it'll be like to pick up the phone, and it's just like, hello? You're lost? And it's just like, I don't even know if you could hear that. Like, Riverside may have actually canceled out my like sandblast noise. So it's just active, and you're like, are you okay? I'm trying to call about a website, but do you need medical assistance? Like, it's just absolute chaos. So I had, we stopped working for those people for a while. And then I think it was earlier this year, or maybe late last, I had a phone call or two from somebody who was like going through like a reenactment of the of D-Day, I guess. Not literally, but it sounded like it, in their own home office. And so what I wanted to do was, I was just sick and tired of people with their ridiculous scenarios when you pick up the phone. So what I wanted to do was get a cap gun. So the instant I pick up and it's like the sandblast, I'm just gonna get like a cap gun and just, and then they're gonna be like, "Hello, are you okay?" Like, "Yeah, everything's good." Like,
the revenge on the clients that don't know how to put a phone in an office. I was in one of those auto body shops one time, and they had a phone literally right by their sandblaster. that was the weird part about it. It's like they intentionally do it.
Sandblasting is loud. Like, there's an air compressor involved. You're blasting sand against a metal object.
Their phone every 5 days. Like
yeah, the speaker's all just gummed up. Like, yeah. Probably, actually. But yeah, anyway, so we wanted to, you know, I put very little thought into this. Like I said, I spent about 5 or 10 minutes on this. So we want to kind of go through sort of I guess a user scenario, I think is what we're going to probably go through, figure out like what we want this golf app to solve. And then we'll be able to make either, whether we do a flow chart or not, I don't know, whether we just make notes. But that's what these two things are for. So Mike and I can both draw on something, and then this is just my wireframe software that I use. So I guess like the first thing we can address is that it's a simple golf tracker app. Without this, I just realized I could remove that. A simple golf tracker app. And so one of the main goals of it is right in the title. It is simple. And the reason why that is because people like me who are amateur golfers, I do like to record things for my stats. I do like to record my scores and share those scores with friends sometimes, but I don't need the complexities of a lot of the golf apps that are out there right now. So a lot of them are like, you don't have to do this. There's multiple modes, but one of the common modes is you go to the course, you choose the course. They have a database of them. You choose the course out of the database, and then you press start round, and they have everything. They have like GPS coordinates of where you are, where the pin is, etc. And so you have all these abilities while you're in the round to say, you know, oh, I hit a stroke, you know, +1, and you're actively always on your phone during the round. I don't like doing that. I just use the paper one. And then I just take a screenshot, or rather a photo of it, and then I just total it up and throw it in the app afterwards, which is another mode that exists. My idea is that I think there's a need, or at least there's a need for me, for an app that's just simpler than that. Like, there's no GPS, there's no nonsense, there's just go. And one of the things actually, Mike, that I think is actually like a major value add that I do want to add is a lot of these golf apps, and I mean, I've used 2 or 3, so it's not like I've used 100 of them, but a lot of these golf apps don't allow for like custom modes. So when you're going out there as an amateur golfer, like, you're just going out there for fun, right? Maybe you're doing like a tournament. You've booked 3 tee times, and it's like a quote unquote tournament with your family and friends. It's not an official tournament that's sponsored or anything, but it's just like something where you're doing that. Or like, we have a mode, which I don't even know what it's called, but we have a mode we'll play where there's 4 of us, and we play 6 holes each, and we swap teams each time. And so there's like a bit of like rivalry there where it's like, hey, I just won 4 holes. I better like throw the next 2. Hopefully my partner who I'm playing best ball with is not doing good. There's like a little bit of strategy and stuff like that. And you can't really record that in these apps. And so how I've gotten around that is I've just gone in, wrote the par. Like, I've just wrote that I got par, marked it as a tournament round, and then it just doesn't count for my handicap. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So that's the problems that this thing is meant to solve. Is there a place I can see this chat, Mike? Do I have to go to Twitter?
Yeah, I guess like they don't put it in Riverside, so you have to go to separately Twitter and Twitch. So I've got both open right now. Twitch is dead; it's fine. Yeah, Twitter has a little bit of a chat going.
Twitch is dead.
I mean, our Twitch is dead. We haven't streamed Twitch on Twitch in 2 years.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like our stream was dead.
No.
Also, our stream looks different than what it looks like on Riverside. Like I'm on the right side on Riverside, and for some reason I'm at the bottom.
It's a good point. Yeah, I didn't.
Like I like cropped myself all real nice. Like I was like, oh, well, like it's just like a nice little picture of my face, and now it's just this widescreen. Anyway, weird, but who cares? Anyway, so where do you want to start, Mike? Like, do you want to start with? Oh, there goes Mike. But anyway, he'll be back. He probably accidentally closed the tab again, which he did earlier. But I'm kind of curious, like where we're thinking we should start. Like we could start with just sort of like our thoughts, and we could just start going like dive right into the actual wireframe itself, or we could kind of spend time flow charting it in this software, because since it's shared. Flow charting it and be like, user pulls up to the golf course. What do they need or what do they want? Things like that. Hopefully Mike will return shortly. He is back. Mike is back. Did you close the tab again?
And I have returned. I hath returned. I closed the entire browser. One thing I did not plan out at all is how I'm going to manage the chats, and that is throwing me for a loop, even though no one is talking really.
I saw the chat for about 2 seconds, and then now for some reason I can't see the chat again. I'm not really sure.
That's how it should be, yep.
I'm not really sure like how that works. Oh, there it goes. There, okay, I figured it out. Okay, I don't need to watch myself, so I'm going to close this. Whoop. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so I got it all set up. Using the old Windows Snap is what I'm doing here. Okay. So I think we're good to go. Like, I think we can, let me just adjust this. I think we can probably just go for this. Do you want to do like so I was asking the audience when you left, do you want to do like a flow chart, or do you just want to dive right into like a wireframe? What do you think?
Well,
like,
I mean,
we haven't really determined the needs of the
what is
app.
golf? Like he wants you to explain golf to him from scratch. Like history of golf, please.
St. Andrews is an old course.
Done. No, I think what we can do is probably go to your wireframe that you created.
Okay. So one of the things that I had trouble with this already, and I can't remember how to zoom out. There we go. One of the things I had trouble with already with this is that I didn't know, like, when we say simple, one of the ways that I see simple is like you'll have a full screen. So like, let's just say containers, let's just say we grab a rectangle and we throw it here. Let's just say for the sake of example that this is the actual screen for a moment, this square over here. One of the things that I didn't know what we should do is if we take buttons, and let's just say we take this button here, should like the whole screen be like the real simple buttons? You know what I mean? So it's like 3 buttons, real easy. That's what we want. Like, is that what we want, where we say, okay, this is like the start round, this is this round, this is that round? Like, are we trying to get simplistic in that way, where it's like, it's so simplistic? You know what I'm trying to say? Where it's so simplistic that like it's almost foolproof? Or do we still want to give them sort of like the feel of, say, like a standard fully fledged, I guess you could say, app, where it has this stuff where it like actually lists the stats? Like, what do you think? Like, this feels almost like a bit like preschool. However, when you are out there like in real life, one of the things you do not want to be doing a lot is you don't want to be messing with stuff. You don't want to be like, oh shoot, like where's that start button, and is it start round or log round, or like what is it? And so one of the things that I came up with is this original design, kind of like what Manny just said there. Is this start button, and then this start button, start around or start, add a score or whatever, would then give you more options. So it would quite literally just like, it would open to something like this, better designed, but it would open to something like this, where it would be like, do you want to start around? Do you already have a score? Are you doing a custom game? Right? Things like that. Things of that nature, more or less, is my point.
Right. So I think that makes sense because that allows us to create like the dashboard screen to be really simple. And then we kind of go through a process of onboard, like starting the round. So you press start, you choose your options, and then the next screen can also be really simple. The actual, like, whatever you're doing on that round is probably just a button, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, so I mean this is kind of why I was kind of thinking that we may need a flowchart a little bit, because we have to think about it in two different ways. So like let's just say hypothetically like somebody clicks the start button. Like I'm just going to draw this here. Can I draw like buttons and stuff like that down here?
You can draw whatever you want with the shapes that are, you know, supported. Okay.
So let's just say, just for the sake of simplicity, that like the user like clicks on start, right? Once they click on start, how do you draw an arrow again, Mike?
You just press A on your keyboard.
A. Shoot, I thought it was the start button for some reason. Mm-hmm. So, what, like they click on start, and then they are given a bunch of options, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is with these options is things are going to be drastically different between them. So one of the things is like if it's a quick score, right? Then they can just enter. This is not a proper flow chart, by the way, but they can just like enter score and then save, right? But the thing is like if we were to take this, can I use Alt and do this? Yeah. So if I do this, this is now like number 1 through 9. Blockchain is absolutely being incorporated into this. Every hole you do, you're going to earn a Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin.
I don't think you can function without it. I'm gonna do it. You're not even gonna notice, other than the fact that it'll prompt you to like transact.
I'll be like, yeah, Ether wallet or whatever. Like, the fuck is this? And then yeah, or like number 1 through 18. So like this is the big question mark here, is that this is actually 9 to 18 steps. This is like effectively 1 or 2 if you count the save. So things are going to be like drastically different. The reason why we need both is you would think in a simple golf tracker you would just do this.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a tournament game with your friends and family, you will need this likely.
So my suggestion is let's put this part over here, so this part right here, out of scope of the MVP. And just focus.
So you just want this.
Just
like you
focus
just want
on literally the simplest thing possible. Because again, I think the goal of this is to get the ball rolling a little bit on our just building apps again side of things. Just for the audience that's out there, one of the reasons we want to build something together is we haven't built a personal project in a really long time. Matt and I have both. Matt's been working for clients all the time. I'm working obviously for Cyphren. And we're building really cool projects, but we're not doing personal projects. So we want to have a place where we can build personal projects. To do that, we can't start with something more super complex because we're just not gonna do it. We don't have the time. So we're gonna build something super simple, and I want to always be limiting the scope and then adding on to it while we're doing that. We need to get the ball rolling. I want to get this thing done within weeks, not months. I want to have like, you know, something out there, and I think this is cool. Like this is cool. I think you're sharing the wrong screen though, Matt, by the way.
What do you mean? Wrong. Oh, you want this?
Yeah. Sorry. I was just pointing to it. So this is cool. Like the tournament play is cool, but without this, it's not going to work anyway.
Well, what do you think about this though? So it's like, this doesn't necessarily need to be the tournament play. This is like hole per hole. So like when you're out there, like this is an MVP question. So the custom games, I totally agree, should not be in the MVP. I agree with that.
Okay.
The question is though, is like, if you're just out there and you do have your phone on you, are you doing like every hit? Do you want to have the ability to use this as a shot tracker? Maybe not every hit, but every hole maybe. So that you're not using the paper at all. Like I guess I'm trying to like weigh the idea of like, is that a critical thing of like having it so that it is an actual replacement for the like paper in person, right?
Yeah. I see.
Oh yeah, we're golfing big time.
Yeah, this is what we're doing. We're building a golf tracker app that's super super simple.
Like I don't like it Like, I wouldn't use it too much, but I do acknowledge that if we build that functionality, if we build the hole per hole in the MVP, then that is a manipulatable system that we could then, that's a manipulatable system that we could then apply to the things like the tournament play or the custom games. Otherwise, we only have like one form effectively, which is like enter in your number, maybe at most take a picture if that's not even in the MVP, right? And then that's it.
Can we just incorporate these maybe? Like, can we incorporate this tournament play into the same screen?
Well, it's like I agree that the tournament play should not be in here. This is just like, imagine you go to the course and you're just like, do you need a scorecard? And you say no. Yeah. And then you're out there and you finish hole one and you know, it's a par 5, you shot 5, sure. Mm-hmm. So you literally just go in on your phone and like your phone is ready. Like it says, you know, hole 1, and you just like type in 5 and you use the interface to get 5 in there. And then that's it. Like, then you're good. And then you move away. Then you move to the next one. Like that, I'm wondering how like vital that is.
I think you're right. I think that is pretty vital. I think just having a button is probably not enough. I'm just trying to figure out where that goes. Does it go on the same screen as that button? Or is it a separate screen? Like, what are you thinking there?
Like, I think it would be a separate, like, you mean for the different
filling
modes?
Out the scores. Yeah, filling out the scores.
I think it would have to be its own form. Like, I'd almost imagine it being 2 different forms. One would be like a step-by-step form. One would be a one-step form where you enter in the score and then you leave. Although one other thing we need to consider, this is why I wanted to like do this, because there's like a lot of little things to consider. One of the things that we do need to consider is something we mentioned earlier was like, I find it ridiculous that we have like these courses. Like, it's like, okay, so for example, in Canada, we have an app and an organization called Golf Canada and Golf Ontario. Great app. Problem is if someone, meaning one of the golf clubs, does not join them in whatever capacity, I don't know if it's paid or whatever, I have no idea. That's business to business. However, if they're not a member of Golf Canada, then they don't list them in the app. And so there's a local club where I can't have my stats from that place in the app. So I have to use a different app to track that one. Now, like, you realistically could just enter the par each time, but then we also need profiles for each of the courses. AI would be awesome, actually. It could dynamically calculate like how many strokes you get off on each hole if you're using like the personal handicap.
I think it would play the game for you. Like, you just like get the AI mode would just fill out the score sheet. Like, you don't even have to play. Bam.
Yeah, you do like 3 rounds and then it just
like
it just like knows. Yeah. It's like, hey man, I would like to play here one day. It's a private club, and then it's just like, there's your score, man. Nice little picture, like steals it from Google or whatever.
Yeah, it autofills bogeys everywhere.
Yeah, so profiles for each of the courses, and so the question is like, do you have to have a database of courses, or is it a personal database where the person fills it in? To make it simple, the person like fills it in. And then it's only like it's their profiles. So if they only go to 3 clubs and they only have 3 clubs, they don't have access to like all the ones across Canada or Ontario.
I like the profiles for each course, but again, my fear is that we're overcomplicating something that is not. The goal of it is not to make an all-encompassing app. It's just to get like, you're out there on the course. This was my picture when you pitched this to me, Matt. Okay. You're out there on the course. You need to record. You start the app. You're on hole 1. You press start. It shows you, like, it just says hole 1, and then it has a button for each stroke. And then you're literally like, hit stroke, hit the button, stroke, hit the button, and then you're like, done hole. Next hole. That was like the initial idea that I thought in my head, like super, super simple.
So here's something though that will make it simpler though. Can I zoom this out? Yeah, I can. Okay, so like watch this. So like think about this. We're on. Can I text? Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be hole number 1, right? And we're gonna do. It's gonna be a par 5. The actual UI like should start at 5. And then your plus and negative goes from there.
Okay.
But the thing is in order for it to know what this is, it needs to have course profiles. So if we don't have course profiles, then we're just putting in scores. So you would end up starting at 0 and you would have to keep like tapping the number up. Like there's a lot, like this is where I was getting stuck when I started this initial wireframe, because I was like, I don't know like how many different directions. Now this might be something that we iron out, right? Like as I go out there, and I go to the simulator all year, so I can even do this on the simulator.
Is there a course profile API where we could pull in all the courses with their pars and have them be selectable and searchable?
Unknown. I do know that the two main golf apps I use, which is the Grint and Golf Canada, I use Golf Canada primarily.
Every course.
Well, Golf Canada has the whole, like, I don't know, club thing or whatever. Again, I don't know all the details of that, but they have that. And then the Grint will add things. Like I've messaged them and been like, yo, this course is missing. I've sent them a picture of the scorecard, and then in a number of weeks they add it for me.
I figured out the use of AI. Take a picture of your scorecard and it'll auto create the profile.
Yep. I use it to total my scores.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually that I say that won't be that hard, but every profile has a different, or every course has a different scorecard. So we'd actually have to use, it wouldn't be OCR, it would actually have to go through like a ChatGPT and that like analysis, and it would probably hallucinate sometimes. Well,
there's complexities too. Sometimes a par is a 4 or 5, depending on what tee you're at.
That's
and
true.
Then there's also, you have to know your handicap in comparison to the handicap of the hole in order to know how many free strokes you get, or otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, we've gone off the deep end again. Okay, never mind. Let's go back to the simplicity. Let's go back to the simplicity. You're 100% right.
Virtual game against AI Tiger. I mean, PGA 2K23 is a thing. The Tiger Woods edition, I think, is available now.
It shows you his score the entire time.
You can play as Tiger.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Does the app make me a scratch golfer? We do not. No.
No. That's it. Yeah, that's incorrect. No.
That is incorrect, yeah. It would possibly make you a worse golfer. But
I mean, if you're like you stress about your score, maybe, yeah.
I like the idea. Like, I like this interface that you just showed with the 2 buttons and the number on the other page, on the other tab.
Yeah. Like this is similar to one of the golf apps I'm using.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Like, I like the simplicity. My worry is I don't know how to do profiles in a simple way, other than like just literally having a custom form for them to fill out, which just seems like something no one would do.
It seems like something that isn't simple. Like that is a problem. Exactly. That's absolutely a problem.
So I think we'll have to have it so that we can use this interface, but it'll have to start at 0.
I think Anna maybe mentioned that it's possible that, like, let's say if I go in there and I fill out one of the golf clubs I'm in, it's actually available for the community.
Sure. Yeah, we could have a whole golf clubs database. We could figure out the golf clubs database, but again, as soon as you mention that, you also mentioned the complexity of what tees you started from, so it's a whole other thing. Right? Like,
yeah, this isn't easy. Yeah, this isn't easy.
Like, we'll have to create that database, or buy the database or something. Like, we're not gonna. This is a personal project app that's not like, unless people start using it and it goes off somewhere. Like, we're not going to be spending money on buying a golfing database, most likely.
Right. Well, I mean, actually,
filling one out, but
to be honest, I mean, there's probably not probably, there's going to be thousands of golf courses out there. I think there's 98 in my immediate area when I Google Maps, but, or 94, I think it was the last check.
That's it. We're taking investments, chat. We're taking investments in this app.
You don't have to take investments to go on these websites and just check the scorecard
this is
and fill them in.
On chain. It's going to have AI in it. This is going to be the golf app to end all golf apps. Anna's already signed on to do the designs. We're done. We haven't picked the stack yet, Anna. It's probably going to be SvelteKit, but
It's going to have to work on mobile and offline, though, is one thing that we've decided. Because that's another problem is some of these apps require data. You go out in the middle of a field because that's what you're doing, and then you don't have data.
Yeah. No, it's going to be okay. It's going to have offline mode, 100%. That's something that I wanted to explore anyway. I wanted to do the offline first approach for our app so that people can use it offline, and then it'll just like periodically sync with the database rather than just be like a live connection to the database. It's going to be built like Linear. Linear does the same thing for people that are out there that have used Linear. It has an offline first mentality where that's why everything seems like it's super snappy. It's because everything kind of just like stores to a local SQLite database right in the browser, and then that SQLite database syncs with an external database periodically, probably quite often, but regardless, to the user, you're just syncing locally.
Yeah, we are also Android users as well. But I mean, if we do the app, I would like to get them on both. Like, I don't think we should leave the iPhone out, because I know I don't golf with anyone else who uses Android. One person.
Yeah, it'd have to be both. It'd have to be both. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna either if we want app first mentality, like if we're thinking not a web app or not a PWA, then maybe we go React Native right away. Like React, maybe we do this in React. But I mean,
it's a complex, like, this is like, I know that it's like the simple golf tracker, but like you need to have this stuff. Yeah, like PWA and ship fast is our first idea. It also complements our work as well, because like I barely touch SvelteKit and stuff like that professionally, so it's like I'd learn it better and stuff like that.
I think PWA is the way to go. I don't know if I want to bundle this as an app yet. Again, if we build it and then we jam AI and blockchain in it, we get our investments. Again, we're taking investments, seed, like first round. Everyone can get like really good percentages, whatever the heck. I don't know what I'm talking about with investments. I'm not taking investments anyway. But
I was going to ask,
if we do get to that point, then we can, package it in whatever way we want. You can stake your golf score.
Stake your golf score.
Send a wallet address for investment. Okay.
Man, we're gonna start a meme fucking token for golf. Like,
yeah, actually, yeah.
Called Scratch Golfers.
We're gonna spin up an entire L3. Actually, Manny, we're gonna do it on Barachain. There we go. This is how we transition into the investments. You guys are open. You guys are launching. We're gonna do it on Barachain. We're gonna be the flagship app on Barachain.
Things are going to get way too competitive. Like someone mentioned there, like a percentage of like your handicap and stuff. Like this is just going to be a simple golf app turns into chaos. Like I can already see the news report. Like a simple golf tracker caused chaos today as someone who swear they staked or whatever, like made less than a scratch golfer.
Bears and golf. Yeah. Okay. So back to the app. Let's focus a little bit on the app here, because I do want to get to a point where we at least have an idea for the start. I think, again, to start off, maybe we do this interface that you're pointing at right now.
Yep.
Maybe we start at 0, right? Okay, and then you have an ability to go to the next hole or be done. So you need a button somewhere to go like next and previous or whatever. And that's cool. I think that's a good like first loop that we can implement really quickly. And then if we want to implement profiles for each golf course, that won't be that hard once we implement this loop, in my opinion.
Okay, so we basically have two options then, because we still want the total score.
Yes,
obviously
we still want a total score, probably. Yeah,
because that one's easy, and also like if people use the total, like if people are using the paper, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I do think that they kind of can go. They're kind of the same thing in the sense, like you should be able to toggle between this view and total score view in the same. Do you know what I mean? Because like, I don't know what the difference really is at the end of the day.
Well,
because,
I'll tell you right now. Yeah. I'll tell you. Hang on. So I'm just going to open up Golf Canada right now. So Golf Canada at the bottom has a bunch of buttons, but there's a big red start button with a plus. You click on that, it opens up 3 different things. It opens up create a post, and that's like a social media post. So I'm not going to do that. That's crossed off. Second one is start a round. Record your scores and stats hole by hole for you and your friends.
Okay.
And then the next one is a quick post. Quickly enter the score of a past round without stats tracking. So that's that.
Okay.
So like that would be the 2 options. Like we get rid of the social post. We have the like start a round, which is like the hole per hole. And that's another thing too. I didn't even think about that, is like whether or not we're going to allow multiple players to be tracked. I feel like no in the first version.
Well,
but
like, again, like why can't people go from the, I guess it would just be a table view, to the back to this view?
What do you mean?
You know, like you should be able to, like, as you're going through each hole, plus, 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 plus. What if you want to view your previous holes, like how you've been doing? You press the table view.
Yeah,
and
I guess
then,
you could like go
it
and
has
view
exactly the view that you're talking about. It's essentially golf cart view, not golf cart view. And then you go and in the golf card view, you can just enter your scores manually as well. Like if you don't want to go, you can just go back and forth, no problem.
Well, the thing is though, is so like some people won't, like some people even post round will do hole per hole. Like they'll take their scorecard, like their physical paper scorecard, and then they will go and be like, okay, hole 1 I got 4, this one I got 5, this one I got 6, this one I got 2.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like for me, 99% of the time, unless I did particularly well, I just go in and be like 106 or whatever, like whatever I scored. So you can do a total or not a total.
Sure. I still don't see how that is different than what I'm saying.
Like you're talking, maybe I'm misunderstanding. You're talking specifically about the hole per hole mode. We should probably draw this. Like, let's actually
like,
this is just starting to get.
Yeah, draw what you mean, because we might be talking about the same thing and going around in circles. Which is
hang
exactly
on.
what software development is.
I'm gonna clear the slate. We're gonna clear the slate here. Let's do a proper-ish flowchart. Okay, so we're gonna go start round. Right. So we're gonna have an arrow that goes to here. And then we're going to have, what is it, a triangle thingamajig? Whatever it is. Is it a triangle? I forget. No, it's a diamond, right? Rhombus, whatever.
Choice, yeah.
Been a long time since I did this. Some college shit. But anyway, so then we get to choose log type. I suppose. Better, we can do a better name for this.
Yep.
But just out of the realm. We can, so then this one here, and so there's going to have 2. This one here and this one here. So this one, choose your log type. Basically, this first one here is going to be a enter score after round. And then there's another choice here, though. So what we have to consider is that, okay, we decided to enter score after the round. Then we need another rhombus. What are we going to Whistlebear? So we like do this. And then this is like enter full score or hole per hole. Right? And then like this is what I mean is like it's a multifaceted question.
Enter full score or hole per hole. But I want to be able to switch well, okay. Can you explain what full score is again? Sorry.
Full score is literally like you were on the course, you shot 106 throughout the whole round. You don't care about your per hole statistics. You type in 106, you press, and it's on course 2, and you save, and that's it.
Okay.
Because like what I'm saying is a lot of people do not care about the hole per hole. Like for them, it's just like, what did you shoot today? Like how many times have like people said, what did you shoot today? Give me a list. And then someone rips out 18, rips out 18 numbers.
Sure. Okay. I gotcha.
So then you'll have this too. So then you'll have, or I guess it's not a choice, but it's this here. So enter score after round. This would be enter score. I'm just going to say during rounds, and it's going to be hole per hole.
Okay.
And then you just enter those in. So like you just enter them in and then you save.
Enter score during round, enter score after round. Okay. Gotcha.
So like this here like interface speaking, if you do like this effectively in terms of UI would do this. Like if you were like, oh, I'm going to choose hole per hole, it'll effectively take you to this UI.
Mm-hmm.
The saving and the structure will be slightly different, and obviously this isn't proper for a flowchart, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like it'll bring you there to for the UI.
Yeah.
So the screens we need are going to be what?
Well, for
screens.
for just this flow, because this flow doesn't take into account login as well.
Right.
Yeah, profile. And
like the first version's not going to have that probably. Like it's probably just going to be me being like, okay, let's pretend to go through a round to check it work. Like heck, I might even like you know, save it somewhere where it just saves to local storage, and I'll go test it myself just to see if I like it or something like that.
Yeah.
But the screens that we need is the main screen.
We can save to local storage. It's fine. Main screen, yeah.
And then
we
need a choose round type, or choose round type. I don't know. We want to choose log type, I guess, to keep it consistent.
Yep.
And then we need a form. I'm just going to put form 1, and this is the hole per hole. And then we need form 2, which is going to be total score only. And then that's it.
Okay.
The only other thing we need to question is like, do we need profiles for courses?
Well, do we need an ending screen, like a screen at the end of a round?
You would probably go back to your list, because then the thing you just entered would be at the top of your list.
Okay.
Because like if I'm looking here at Golf Canada as a comparison, if I click on my profile, which is what I normally do, it has a big list here. So it has a list of all my scoring history. So it has like little widgets for my scoring statistics, how many rounds, what's my average score per par 3, things like that. And then you can change the filter on that. So you could change it from current year to last year to certain years, things like that. And then there's a scoring history. So we're going to like simplify this. Like we don't need all these widgets and crap, but we should have this thing where it's like what course, what date. That's what this is, right? What course, what date, what's the score?
So it sounds like we need to have it has a start button and then choose log type. That should also have a way for you to enter the course name. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the choose.
Do you have several rounds on one course? Yes. Yeah. Definitely several rounds on one course. Like last week we did 36 in one day, so that's 2 rounds.
Total score only. Yep. Okay.
This does feel complicated. Like, I mean, it's not the simplest thing in the world. Like, it's a problem in that we're trying to simplify it, but then it's like, hey, like, what about these people? What about these people? What about these people?
Yeah,
like, we could simplify it to this. Like, we could just cut this and have it so that you enter in the total score.
But that's not the solution for you. Like your solution, what you wanted to make was something that would allow you to count per hole, is it not?
Yeah, like I've started doing that because like as you improve, you're like, oh, I got a couple birdies or whatever, a couple pars. I want to show that off because like, you know, just saying 100, you may have blown up on 6 of the holes, but then you're totally fine. Like, you know what I mean? You got birdie on a couple things. You want to show that off. And so you would need the per hole. And yeah, you would log each round as a separate activity. Yeah. Like that'd be 2 separate rounds in Golf Canada, for example. I would enter it twice.
Would you not log that as 2? Yeah, you would log it as 2 different activities. Well, I mean, technically you could just go do 36, I guess, like in one.
No, you can't because it'll literally say like you're reached at 8, you're at the 18. That's it.
Okay. So you're going to have that limit. Okay. Gotcha.
Like, all these apps will have a limit of 9 or 18.
Okay.
Right, because some people will just go to a 9.
Yeah. So that choose log type is really like create a game, like start game screen, and then that's going to have a bunch of options from my understanding, like 8 or 19 or 8 or 9 or 18, and course name, and then maybe the par for the course or something like that. Like you might need to have, if we're not going to have defaults or if we're not going to have like profiles, you'd probably want something that would like tick away at the par. Like at what the course, like the, you know, what you should be aiming for?
Well, how critical do we think? I think that's a big question, because then it would like have us questioning whether or not we need to purchase a database or like find a free API out there or something. Or like even if we built an API, like at the end of the day, you know, data entry speaking, in a couple of hours, we could probably have a couple hundred courses, but they would be local entered into this thing. So it would be like the Southeastern Ontario golf app. Like, but like, I mean, it's possible though. Like, you know what I mean? Like as an MVP, it's possible to do that.
Sure. Yeah, we could. Why do you need
Two
two
different
log types? Yeah, this was the question that we were asking earlier, but it's the log types are
the log types are because you have to like picture like so you show up to the course and you pay for everything and you get in your cart if you're karting, and then someone's gonna be like, do you need a scorecard? Some people would prefer to not use a scorecard and the pencil and everything, and they'll just say no, and they'll use their phone for everything. So it's impossible, or I mean, not impossible, but improbable that you're going to remember all 18 of your scores. So like as you hit, you're going to want to like tally it up. So some people will do that per hole. Some people will do that per stroke, but regardless, whether they do it per stroke or per hole, it's still that's the same interface with the plus and negative, right? Like that's irrelevant. And then you go through and that's it. Now, the idea is that you have statistics. So for example, like my statistics here, I have 3 statistics just right in front of me: my scoring by par 3, scoring by par 4, and scoring by par 5. So how often am I getting par? What's my average score on a par 5? That's starting to get a bit much, but you can extrapolate that later.
Yeah.
Tags golf app. What's that?
It's a
oh, this is Dribble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what I basically want to do is I want to make this simpler than having like a whole round. Like the biggest problem right now for me is it's a whole round, like, you know what I mean, with the GPS and everything, and it's just too much.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, like I don't know if too simple is enough, because you're saying get rid of the scorecard, but the scorecard has your par, has your like distances. A lot of times it has like so much information that is tough to get rid of.
Right.
Like you don't
like, I mean, there's some that are going to be like, I'm looking at Dribble here. There are some that's going to be like not superfluous for the people that care, but like there's going to be a lot of stuff here. Like for example, this person wrote 4 strokes, 2 putts. Somebody was off to the right of the fairway. They were in GIR, which is green regulation, and they have 0 penalties. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty serious hit. Like if you want a lot of statistics, like I don't need that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good point. Manny's asking a good question. Who is the user and what is their motivation again? Like who are we making this app for? Are we making it specifically
this app
for
is for, well, I guess for me, but it's for amateur golfers that care enough to track their statistics. My main statistics that I follow is what were my scores, and I just kind of scan through them. What were my scores per course, and how many rounds I do that year.
Okay.
And me personally, I only record for myself. I don't record for anyone else. So that's something else. Like we like drop the multiple player thing.
Yeah.
In this mode, for sure.
Tracking
stats will do hole by hole stats.
Yeah. I guess well, it depends. If someone were to just use if someone they want to improve their stats.
Yeah, like if we do hole per hole, then we can do a lot of those things I was talking about. Not right now, but we could easily like just do the math and calculate their average score per par 5 and par this and par that.
We would need to know the pars then.
Correct, which is the problem
right now. Yeah.
But like at the end of the day here, like I'm starting to get a little bit more serious, and I'm just starting to care about that.
Yeah, I get it.
So like we could just not include that, because there's going to be tons of people that just, I mean, people do that, right? They just open up the notes app on their phone. I know 2 or 3 people that do this, and they just write down like, oh, I went to like Cayuga Golf Club. I shot 106.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So
that's all
those are the people that we're trying to get.
Right.
The people that are just opening up the notes app and get the yeah, I get it, man. Like, but yeah, like if we can get that data, like the par data, then this becomes a much better app. Yeah, the Excel spreadsheet people. That's who we're kind of going after, or the Notes app people.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Not the
people that care enough to like look and maybe talk about it, but they're not like, man, what's your GIR, your green regulation, your FIR, fair area and regulation stuff. Like we don't like I can do that in some of these apps that I use, but I don't. Like it's too much.
Yeah. Anna's going fully into design mode right now. I bet you, we're gonna have like a full app. Well, not fix. No, but okay, so we got to go record this podcast soon. So we got to time box ourselves. We have like 5 minutes, let's say, to decide.
Well, this is still a good discussion. Like,
no,
like if someone listens to this in the future, like this is what MVPs are made of. Like you have to kind of have these arguments and debates and figure this out, right? Like you have to, because otherwise, like I would be like, yeah, now we need GPS, and it was the exact thing I didn't want. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
How would you set this up? Like, what would the user flow like at a high level? Like, what would the user flow be when they like start? It's like you arrive on the course, you open the app. Now what?
Create a course and start an activity. So like, yeah, I guess some people might want to create a course, but again, that's another friction point because creating a course is a little bit complicated. In the sense that what tees are you starting from? How many freaking holes? Like each hole, entering the par for each hole. Like, I feel like people aren't going to do that. Aren't going to do that on this app. Like this app is not for the people that are going to be creating custom courses. If they want course data, then we have to provide it ourselves.
Which is like when I first originally thought this idea, this was one of the things that I wanted to avoid.
Yes,
but I don't think it is avoidable.
It might not be avoidable.
Because I think it is. I think the reason why everyone does it is probably because it's critical.
Yeah, because you need the par.
You need
to know what the pars are for each hole. Like that's a critical piece of information when you're golfing.
Yeah. So if you arrive at the course, like there's even a Samsung Watch app that does this. If you arrive at the course, it knows exactly where you are, what hole you're on, where you are from the pin, how far you are from the front of the green, the back of the green. Depending on how advanced the actual app is, it knows all that stuff. And the carts at fancier courses do that as well. They'll do scorecard and everything right for you. You just show up, you drive around, you like park beside your ball, and it's like, oh, you're 110 from the pin. We do need a way to create a course. I agree with that, because there's going to be like one of the major problems with the golf course app that I use is that it doesn't have one of my courses. So it says I did 40 rounds this year, but in reality, I've actually done 43 rounds.
Okay.
And so like one of those stats that I actually care about is now broken up between two apps. And then the one app looks like I've barely played all year. And the other app looks like I have played. And I have all these rounds in Golf Canada that I've listed as tournament rounds. And I've just listed them at par because we were doing different game modes.
I bet you there's a site that lists a lot of courses that you can just scrape.
That's potential. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there is quite literally an API for this.
Yeah. But I can't imagine it being free, but maybe it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless we start it. This all leads to us starting an API.
Bye, Anna.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. People could play a community created course. Yeah. So it sounds like we have to kind of go back to the table a little bit and think about that course creation part or the course data pulling part, because I don't know if we can do this without that.
Yeah, unless we only care about the total scores. But then it's like, oh, you got 106 where? Yeah. Like that's going to be the next question that someone asks you socially. Like, where were you? Oh, I don't know. It was on, September 6th. Like, I don't remember. I mean, like
we can add course names. Like the course name is not a problem. It's the breakdown of the stats that I think is more important. It's like you got 106 on whatever. What's the par there? Like
right. Okay.
Yeah. Is that good? Bad? Like that doesn't mean much for the most
part.
No.
See. Okay. So I will say this is like that is something that an amateur golfer doesn't care too much about.
Okay.
It does matter if you are playing on a specialty course, like a par 3 course or a close to par 3 course, where it's called executive length and it's not the full length. So therefore, you're naturally going to score less. That matters a little bit. But at the end of the day, people just go like, what did you shoot? If you say 106, they don't go like, well, what course?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, right. That course is actually like a 207, whatever. Like no one really does that. A little bit though. Like if you say something that's extreme, like if you were like, I was at Sawgrass and you're an amateur, it's like, oh, Jesus, like you did really good. But it's only when it's like super obvious. And like, that's not who we're going after. Right.
Yep. Okay. So does that make us go back to the more simplistic route of not having course data?
No, I think what we need to do now is we've reached a critical point where we need to look at the option of adding the course profile.
Okay.
That includes building it. I think Anna's right on that. We need to build it. Like a person needs to be able to enter it. And then another one where we want to have a database. So it solves the problem of like, oh shoot, my course isn't in here. You know what I mean? My course isn't in here. I'm going to enter my own custom courses.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Manny, it's exactly just the Tally app. That's kind of what we're thinking. Pretty much. With an ability to like tally as you go. Yeah,
like more or less. Like mathematically speaking, this is not complex.
No, yeah,
at all.
There's nothing there, yeah. Again, the whole point of this is to be a stepping stone to the next thing. Right, like this is to get the ball rolling a little bit for us to be able to build something really quickly and then move on. Well, I mean, if people use it a ton, I'm okay with doing this, but I just want to get something up that you'll use, Matt, and then we go on to the next thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, we could just do total score, and you enter the course name. And if I enter the course name once, it saves that course name under my profile. And then whenever I like type in the name of the course, it will autofill it. I hit it and then that's it. And then I know I have like, 3 rounds of Knollwood, which I don't even really need to know. And then that's it.
I would rather go the hole by hole method versus total score for this app.
But that does conflict with the simplicity. Like a lot of people will not use the phone when they're out there. And then they'll just at the end of the day be like, yo, I got 106. They'll write that down.
Mm-hmm. But like I feel like people do want to see what they got on each hole though. Like I know that some people do just write down the total score, but like the holes are more important.
Yeah, like I mean I get it. Like when we did the 36 last week, quite literally I got like 2 birdies or something. Yeah. I want to showcase that. I just don't want to say that I did well.
Yeah.
So I actually put down the thing. I actually take a picture of the scorecard, and if the app allows it, I'll attach it to that post as well as proof.
Fuck.
No, this is good. Yeah. Like we should be getting stuck on this because I was going to make the wireframe for this before we started. Mm-hmm. And like I got to here because I know that we want the course, the date, and the score. Mm-hmm. And I know we need a start button of some sort, whether there was going to be one or multiple. Yep. But then after that, it's sort of like, what does this app do? And it is a question. Like there's a lot of questions here.
I think you have to make the decision, Matt, because this is the app for you, and I think this app, like if you're making this app, you better use it. Essentially,
I'm going to use it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like we can't make an app that you're not going to use. So if you're going to use an app where you just enter the score of each game, like the end score, and that's fine. Like if that's something that you're going to use, let's make that. But if you'd rather use an app where you enter on each hole, then we build that.
I don't think the hole per hole is a deal breaker for me.
Okay.
I think the hole per hole is a deal breaker for some people. So if we care, because like I am starting to care, just starting because I'm starting to do good.
I get it. Yeah.
Like before it was always like every single hole had many mistakes. Now I like show up and it's like fairway in regulation, green in regulation, 2 putts. Okay.
Yep.
And that's not like immensely rare anymore.
Yep.
So that's just where I'm at, where it's like I feel like the original vision for the app solves the problem. I mean, I'm a sample size of 1, but like solves the problem for the most amateur of amateur golfers.
Yeah. We're just
that care a little bit about statistics.
We're building it for a sample size of 1 right now. That's
right.
The mentality that we have to take because again, this is a stepping stone. Like we need to figure out how to build an app again. Together.
I don't think the hole per hole is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like I think we could do the hole per hole even in the MVP. I think we could do the hole per hole without the birdie par or anything like that. I think that that's possible. Yeah. But what I would say the number one question is right now is we need to find out whether or not we can get the course information in like with an API.
Yeah.
Freaking bear chain.
It's going on bear chain. That's what it is. That's why we have that bear there.
Oh, it's bear chain. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a bear chain. Yeah. Like, I mean, their mascot is a bear.
Goodbye, Manny. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, bye, Manny.
So yeah, okay. So I would say like this is something we can address, and we can like talk about this on socials as we discover it during the week and stuff like that. Yep. Is I feel like we need to research this and like bring this API potentially to the table because it may be a defining moment. Yep. If it ends up not being a defining moment, what we can do is we can do total score, we can do hole per hole with no par and just a course name.
Okay, sounds good. That works for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right. I think that I don't know how you want to conclude the stream, Mike, but
yeah, no, that was a great first stream. I appreciate everyone for watching. We're gonna go and record the next episode of the HTML All Things podcast. The last episode that came out was it? Yes, no, it was on Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. What was that episode about?
I absolutely forget because we record so far in advance now.
Yep, I'm checking. That episode was taking control in a rush.
Oh, that's right.
I think that was your
which
episode,
I had to do again this week.
Fantastic. Yeah. When
someone in complete and utter chaos.
Yeah. When someone brings you a task that needs to be done ASAP, but does also not give you all the information, and you've got to actually take control and own that task and figure out how to freaking, work with the client that is making you work in a rush, but not giving you the information you need to actually perform in a rush. It's not easy.
Correct.
Matt gives a ton of good advice on how to handle that situation, how to, mitigate it, how to compromise, etc., etc. So take a listen to that episode, htmlallthings.com. Give us a follow. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We're going to do more of these. The intention is actually to start coding on these streams as well. So Matt and I will code up part of the app, not the whole app because we'll probably code in between as well, but we'll kind of meet together, do some feature stuff, and continue on our way. So yeah, that's, I think, it. Appreciate everyone for joining. That was fun.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Does it stop going live automatically? Like what? How does the
when
software
you say goodbye,
work?
it stops going live.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, you have to do that. You have to do the live long and prosper for 5 seconds.
Okay, but seriously, how do I stop?
I don't know. This is on you, buddy. I'm gonna press leave. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Pretty good. Okay, everyone. I'm still trying to figure out how to stop, but I guess I'm also going to leave. I wonder what's going to happen. Goodbye. Finally.